Okay, good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube, Iyun with Benzion. Today's daf is Nedarim Salmachei, number 65. The Mishnah on Salmachei and Aleph records a machlokas between Reb Meir and the Chachamim. Let's read the Mishnah. Reb Meir Omer Yesh Dvarim Shein Kanola Ve'ein Kanola. There are certain things that are like Nola. We mentioned in the first Mishnah in this parak that it's machlokas rather than the Chachamim. It says you can poseach Manola. Chachamim say you don't poseach Manola. Nola basically means, like we said yesterday, is that I take a neder and there's no way of me knowing, but circumstances come up where, right, later on, where I wouldn't have taken the neder, but there was no way of me knowing that it would happen in the future, right? Like, I take a neder, I'm not going to get hana from a certain person, and it becomes Talmud Chacham. Like the story of Kabbalah Savu and Rabbi Akiva. Well, that's a question, Tosfos asks. It says, like, no, Lord, but generally, the case of the Mishnah, I didn't know he was going to be a sofer. I didn't know he was going to check my tefillin, right? He was someone learning in yeshiva. I took the neder. I had no way of knowing he was going to become a sofer. So that's considered nolad. Now, that's really the exact case of Rabbi Akiva. He was learning in yeshiva. As what Tosfos says, not nolad. Tosfos Ksuva says not nolad. That's why he was mata Kal Savua. Rabbi Akiva was at mata the neder of Kal Savua, his father-in-law, because anyone who goes to yeshiva is probably going to become a Talmud Chacham. So I think the pshat in the Mishnah on Samach Dal is just meant sofer, meaning he's studying in yeshiva, but who would think he would go into Safras, right? He wants to write a Sefer Torah, he wants to do a Sefer Torah, write a Sefer Torah. It's something which there's no way of knowing in advance. It happens. You can't be matar neder with that. That's no lud, according to the Chachamim. So on that, Reb Meir says there are certain things that are similar to the Nola, but not exactly like Nola. Chum say, don't agree. Now, the simple explanation is that Meir says they're like Nola, but they're not like Nola, and therefore you could use them as the Matra Neder. And the Chum say, no, it's still like Nola, you can't be Matra Neder with them. What are the two cases in the Mishnah? The Mishnah says a case, you say, I'm not going to marry a certain woman because her father is bad, has bad midos, he gets angry, or he's in jail. And he finds out that the father died, or he got out of jail on parole. Or he said, I'm not going to go to my friend's house because he has a pit bull over there, a dangerous dog over there, or a dangerous snake. And he finds out that afterwards, the snake died, right? So the reason this is not completely like Nola is because he said, I'm not marrying this woman because her father is bad. If he would have said, I'm not marrying this woman, right? We don't know why he said that. And then they find out, right, and the real reason he did it was because her father was a Russia. And then he did tshuva, so that's Nola. But if he says the reason I'm doing it because her father is bad, has bad midos, he's a Russia, and then he does tshuva, so it's sort of like a t'nai, right? Like the Gemara explains, Amar Rav Huna, the Gemara says, Nasa ketola nidro b'davar. It's like you're making a t'nai. I'm saying I'm not going to marry this woman because her father is a Russia. If he turns out not to be a Russia in the future, it's not Nola because it's not. It's like I'm a kaddish you. I'm gonna ask that you give me $200, right? So if she gives me the $200, that's in the future. But you're making that part of your kedushin. It's a t'nai. Rabbi Yochanan has a different explanation. He says a neder tos. We're talking about a case where the dog was already dead at the time of the neder, or the father already did tshuva. He was already a tzaddik at the time when you made the neder. So it's a neder tos. But the Gemara at the end of Salchem Beis says Rabbi Yochanan's shita has a kasha on it. It's difficult, his shita. Really, the correct opinion is Rav Huna's opinion of Tola Nidro B'Davar Acher. Now, so therefore, basically, the simple explanation of Rav Meir says, since he's Tola Nidro B'Davar, it's not like Nola, and you can mata the neder, and the Chacham say you can. So, makes sense. Why not? Makes sense. Rav Meir and the Chachamim. The problem I have with this is when you think about Tanoim and you think about Rav Meir specifically, you think about Mesachas Kedushin on Daf Samach Aleph, I think it is Mishpatei Tanoim, right? The concept of making a Tanai. How do you make a valid Tanai when it comes to Kedushin over there? It's talking about it has to be like Tanai of Bnei Gad, of Bnei Reuven. When Moshe Rabbeinu made a stipulation with Bnei Gad, Bnei Reuven, they would get Eivra Yarden. They would be able to live in the West Bank. That's where he wanted to live, in the West Bank. So they had to go chalutzim, they had to go fight ahead of the other tribes to conquer Eretz Yisrael. And he made that the Tanai in a very strong fashion, Moshe Rabbeinu, right? There's la v'hein, you have to do it in both the negative and the positive way. You have to have Tanai kodem l'maisa. There's like 5 or 6 rules you have to make for a Tanai. I explained that that's only according to Rameir. We paskin like Rameir by Tanaim, interestingly enough. The only according to Rameir, because I've explained many times, also in the Gemara in Ksubos on Daf Mem Ches, and it's quoted throughout Shas, about Masna Mashakasa B'Torah. You say, I'm a Kaddish, a woman, I'm not I'm not promising to feed you, to clothe you, and to be together with you. Masna Mashakasa B'Torah. You have to do these things. Right? Sheira Ksusa Vonasa is really a Chiyuv Midoraisa. So Rameir says, no, Batal, you can't do that. and Rabbi Yehuda says, no, that B'Davar Shamamot no Kayim. It happens to be monetary things, by at least food and clothing, maybe also marital relations has value to it, financial value to it. It is a good nether. So this machlokas has Rameir and Rabbi Yehuda, and I've explained that machlokas is really the same machlokas Rameir and the Chachamim about Mishpatei Atanoim. Rameir holds like the rush, and this is how we pass. And Tanai milsa achrisa. Tanai is weaker than the first clause of your statement. I'm a kaddish, I'm getting married to you. That's an action that I'm doing, and I'm being told it. I'm making it contingent on something else. That something else is weaker than the actual statement. So therefore, it's possible, right? It's possible that if the Tanai is not in the Skayim, right, it doesn't invalidate the clause unless you made it stronger. That's why you have to strengthen it according to Rameir. You need a Mishpatei Tanai. You have to strengthen it to make the clause just as strong as the action of marrying her. And without that, so therefore the action is fulfilled, right? You're Makadish, or even if you don't give it, your child doesn't give you $200, according to Rameir. The Chacham say you don't have to do that because the Tanai and a contingency plan, even if you say it in a very simple way, is binding, right? It's binding, and that's how we explain the machlokas about Masna Mashakasa B'Torah. That according to Rabbi Meir, if you make a Tanai against the Torah, right? So you can't be Masna Mashakasa B'Torah. You can't do that, right? Because the Tanai is weak. It's a weak Tanai. A regular Tanai is a weak Tanai. So it falls away because you're going against the Torah. According to Rabbi Yehuda, Tanai by itself is a very strong thing. So as we explained over there, Davar Shem Mamo, when it comes to monetary things, to violate an Isser in the Torah, you can't go against. When it comes to Didim Mamnish, negotiable things, financial things are negotiable, the Torah allowed you to do that over there because the Tanai is very strong by itself. So if we're applying that over here, Rameir says, Yesh Ram Shein Kanola, Ve'enon Kanola. They're like Nola. You can't be mounted with Nola. Ve'enon Kanola. They're not like Nola. So most explanations say that he wants to use it to Matan. I think it's the opposite. He's saying, Yesh Ram Shein Kanola, Ve'enon Kanola. They're not exactly like Nola because he's specifying, he's making a Tanai over. He is told Nidra B'Davar Acher. And the Rameir would be saying what? Rameir would be saying, we treat them like Nolad. It's Yesh Nolad Ve'enon Kanola. It doesn't tell you what the halacha is. And according to Rameir, we treat it like Nolad. We treat it like Nolad. Right? And it doesn't work over here. Right? Because according to Rameir, right, we disregard the Tanai. Unless you did Mishpatei Tanai, the Tanai is insignificant. Tanai falls away, and it's like you didn't mention the Tanai, and therefore it's like Nolad exactly. Even though it's technically doesn't sound like Nolad because you made a Tanai, the Tanai is weak according to Rabbi Meir, so therefore it's Nolad. It goes back to being Nolad, and you can't Mater Neder. And the Chachamim not Modim Lo, they say no. They hold like Rabbi Yehuda, right, that a Tanai is strong by itself, and therefore it's not like Nolad because he made his nether contingent on something in the future, but it's not Nolad because he mentioned that contingency. So therefore, if it happens in the future, the father dies or the pit bull dies, it's okay because that's Rabbi Yehuda's opinion. The Chachamim is Rabbi Yehuda, and that's why the Chachamim say in that case it's not like Nola. They would hold it's not like Nola, and you could use it to matter nether. Again, and seemingly because we passed like Rameir, we really should paskin in this case that you can't use it to matter nether, which makes sense because we do paskin like the Chachamim that according to everyone else's explanation, the Chachamim say. Shein Kanola Ve'enon Kanola, and Chachamim treat it like Nola, and you can't be Mater Nether, but it's for the wrong reason, right? The reason really should be because that's Rabbi Meir's Shita. Rabbi Meir's Shita is that we treat it like Nola, and you can't use it, but the halacha comes out the same way, but it's a different explanation, which fits in with Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda's Shita about Tanoim elsewhere in Shas. So I hope you enjoyed today's shir. I think it's revolutionary. See you in the next one.